Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Going the Distance, the show where we talk about sports and music. This is episode 93. Can you believe we've done 93 episodes? I can't, but I want to welcome the new members who are just joining me for the first time, and I want to welcome back the members who've been joining me from the beginning. Your support is greatly appreciated. So before we get started, hit that thumbs up button and like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode when I post a video or a short. So on today's show, we've got some quarterback injuries to get into. We've got the week 2 scores. We've got week 3 predictions. And what has been happening to the Chiefs in the past 2 weeks. And, let's jump into it. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting over a scratchy throat, so I'm sorry if I'm coughing throughout the whole thing. But let's jump into it. So first we're going to talk about Jaden Daniels, who sustained a knee sprain during Thursday night's game against the Green Bay Packers. Now, Jaden Daniels is the quarterback of the Washington Redskins, or the Commanders. He's in his second year. And, he's one of my favorites that are coming out of the league, one of the newer ones. And I guess he sustained this on a running play on Thursday night. I just hope with it being year 2, it's not something that is pressing and, just needs a lot of work. Hopefully he's only out for a few weeks and, he'll be back. But let's hope the backup can pick up where he's left off. In another quarterback injury, we had Justin Fields, the quarterback for the New York Giants, sustained a concussion. So he's out until he can clear concussion protocol. Don't know why that was so tough for me. And he sustained that on Sunday. And then also Sunday night, J.J. McCarthy, the second-year quarterback who plays for the Minnesota Vikings, sustained an ankle injury, which keeps him out of the game for at least 3 weeks. But the biggest one, I think, in my opinion, was Joe Burrow sustaining turf toe or a toe injury during Sunday's game. They ended up winning the game, but he's out for a minimum 3 months with this toe injury. Now, he was just coming off an injury on his wrist. He tore ligaments in his wrist last year, took him out the rest of the season. So now he's got this toe injury. He's out for 3 weeks, and the Bengals are 2-0 right now, which is the best start they've had in a good little while. So let's hope the Bengals can continue this rise up instead of, oh, Joe's hurt, so now we're going to go sink back to the bottom. So with that being said, with those 4 injuries this week, that leaves the quarterbacks just in 2 weeks that have been injured, that are big names. J.J. McCarthy, Brock Purdy has a shoulder and a toe injury he sustained in week 1. Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Justin Fields. Those are 5 quarterbacks. This is not good, y'all. In just 2 weeks in the NFL season, we've already had a full-blown quarterback injury epidemic on our hands. I mean, this isn't good. So, this is 5 first QB1s to go down in a span of 8 days. 16% of the league starters at this position. And at this pace, there won't be any starting quarterbacks left by week 13 if all these starting quarterbacks get hurt, which I don't see that happening. Baker looked good last night. Justin Herbert looked fantastic last night. Both of them. Baker and Justin looked fantastic last night. I don't see anything happening to Drake May, but we already know the thing with Tua. I think he needs to just pack it up because he's, but this is the NFL. So what can you do with that? I mean, anything can happen in the NFL, and anything has happened. But, we'll see how it goes. So, now we're going to move into some week 2 scores in the NFL. So, on Thursday night, we had the Packers defeat the Commanders 27-18. And that's where I told you Jaden Daniels sustained his knee injury during that game. Honestly, the Commanders or the Redskins have nothing to hang their hat about. They didn't play a complete game, but I think that's because Jaden got hurt. Had he not gotten hurt, it might have been 27-24 or even 34-27, and the Redskins might have won that game. Who knows? But Jordan Love and Tucker Kraft led the way in the Packers' 27-18 victory over the Commanders. Jordan Love was 19 of 31, 292 yards and 2 touchdowns. Moving on into Sunday's games, we had the Bengals defeat the Jaguars 31-27, and that's where Joe Burrow got hurt. So like I said, Joe's out for a minimum 3 months with that toe injury because he's going in for toe surgery. Hopefully, he already has it done. He can rehab it and be back to where it was. But this is the Bengals' best start so far at 2-0. In a wild one, in the next game, in a wild game, we had the Cowboys defeat the Giants 40-37. Now, in overtime. Now, that game could have gone either way. I mean, it was a back-and-forth game. I heard I was working, so I wasn't able to see the game. But Russell Wilson was 30 of 41, 450 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, the Giants could have won this game. But in the last seconds, Russell Wilson throws a crucial interception to set up the field goal for Dallas to tie the game, send it to overtime. Now, I think this is a win that Dallas needed to get some momentum back. And, like I said, when the season started, I haven't really been up on Dallas because I didn't know how Dak's injury, coming back from his injury, was going to affect him this season. Well, it looks like, the past 2 weeks, it hadn't really hampered him that much. Yeah, they lost the first week, but they won this week. But they're playing a Giants team. So right now, the Cowboys are 1-1. The Giants are 0-2, and that was a division game. So that helps the Cowboys in that division. Moving on, we had the Lions defeat the Bears 52-21. The Lions are the first team to score 50 points this season, and we're talking about the Bears here. I mean, so let's see. Jared Goff was 23 of 28, 334 yards and 5 touchdowns. He only had 5 incompletions, y'all. That's good. I think I've had my ups and downs with Jared, but I think with this trade with the Rams and the Lions years ago, I think that was the right thing for both of them. And I know I've said that before, and I know that, I was kind of upset to begin with when it happened. But, in hindsight, it was the best thing for them. And, congratulations to both of them. Moving on, actually, speaking of that trade, we're going to talk about the Rams and Matthew Stafford now. So, the Rams went to Tennessee and played the number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward, in Tennessee. So the Rams defeated Tennessee 33-19. The Rams are 2-0. The Titans are 0-2. Kind of not surprised about that. I mean, yeah, Cam Ward's good, but he's got a lot of learning to do. And Matthew Stafford was 23 of 33, 298 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's, to be a 36-year-old quarterback, he's looking good. Moving on, we had the New England Patriots defeat the Miami Dolphins 33-27. This, I believe they said, was the first win from a Patriots quarterback since like 2012 in Miami. So the Patriots defeated Miami, and it's the first time since 2012 a Patriots quarterback has defeated the Dolphins in Miami. I'm pretty sure I got that right. But, yeah, I'm thrilled. This was Mike Vrabel's first win as a Patriots coach, and it looks like Drake May was looking pretty good. They don't have his stats up. They've got Tua's up, and he was 26 of 32, 315 yards and 2 touchdowns. But in the end, the Patriots prevailed, and one of the best shots I saw from that game, because like I said, I was working, I wasn't able to see that game, was Patriots player goes running, takes off, and Mike Vrabel gets there and starts running with him. And that's the mark, that reminds me of somebody like a Pete Carroll who gets all excited and runs with his team. And I love that. I love seeing coaches do that, getting so excited that they run. Sean McVay does it. Now Mike Vrabel's doing it. And these are guys that stay in shape to do that. They're not just on the sidelines with their arms crossed and their headsets on, just ready for the next play. No. They're actually participating with the team. And if something doesn't go right, they're on the sidelines going over to the offensive or defensive line going, hey, what's going on? How can you fix this? These are my ideas. Well, let's see what's going on. But congratulations to you, Patriots. Y'all needed that win. Let's keep it up for the rest of the season. Moving on, we had San Francisco 49ers defeat the New Orleans Saints 26-21. Now, as I said earlier, Brock Purdy was out of the game. He didn't play this week because of a shoulder and a toe injury. So who steps in as quarterback? Mac Jones. And he was 26 of 39, 279 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, after this win over the Saints, I read something interesting. So I read back when Mac Jones was drafted into the NFL, he was drafted by the New England Patriots, 15th overall, first round, number 15. The whole plan that year was to draft him to the San Francisco 49ers wanted him with the second pick. However, they ended up going with Trey Lance. Why they picked Trey over Mac is beyond me. But now the 49ers are seeing what they could have had. But in hindsight, this was the best thing because the 49ers got to see what Brock Purdy had. And had things gone differently and Mac Jones gone to the 49ers to begin with, we might not know what Brock Purdy had. He might be backing up Mac Jones and, who knows? But I just thought that was interesting. And I read things like that and it makes me wonder, why didn't the 49ers draft Mac Jones? But then I realized, that wasn't God's plan. God's plan was for us to see what Brock Purdy had and for Mac Jones to come on later and, see what happened. So now we're seeing the Mac Jones experience in the 49ers. But moving on, we had the Bills defeat the Jets 30-10. Josh Allen was 14 of 25 and 148 yards. Now, in that game, Josh Allen got a bloody nose. I saw that when he hit a player and going in for a tackle, and his helmet hit his nose and it bloodied his nose. But he's right now playing at this MVP league where he picked up where he left off last week. So in the past 2 weeks, let's see, he's beaten Baltimore, come back to beat Baltimore, and he's beaten the Jets. And this game was a division game. This was like one of, I believe I counted last week, 8 games that were division games, and that was one of them. So congratulations to you, Bills. Let's see what you guys got for week 3. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. Moving on. I know I didn't pick this game, but boy, is it sweet to say this score, even though I didn't pick any one of these two teams. The Seahawks defeated the Steelers 31-17, which means Aaron Rodgers lost on Sunday. Sam Darnold was 22 of 33, 295 yards and 2 touchdowns. Have to say he looked like he did pretty good on Sunday, considering he isn't really, in my opinion, as good as everybody expects. But you're playing a Steelers team with a washed-up Aaron Rodgers. So what do you expect? I mean, the Steelers ought to have known when they signed Aaron Rodgers it wasn't going to be the right thing, and it was just going to be a headache from here on out. But it is what it is. But moving on, the Ravens defeated the Browns 41-17 in a division game. Lamar Jackson was 19 of 29, 225 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, it was only 19 of 29 because Lamar Jackson likes to run. And run he did. So that pushes the Ravens to 1-1 and the Browns to 0-2. Which is something because the Browns are, I thought they had pretty good with Joe Flacco at quarterback. But, then I got to thinking about it and I thought, are the Browns doing this to try to get Shadir Sanders at quarterback? Are they, everybody's hyping about Shadir, but I personally would stay with Flacco. I've liked Flacco. And this was a game that was, I bet, bittersweet for Joe because Joe is a former Ravens quarterback. Won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. So I bet that was even though he's been away from the Ravens for so long, I bet he still has the feelings coming back. And like, wow, I've spent so many years here, and this is how it is. But congratulations to the Ravens. Again, Lamar looked like he's playing at a MVP level. So here again, I'm thinking Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, MVP race, and this is only week 2. Like I say, anything can happen. But right now, these are the 2 quarterbacks to beat. Moving on. We had the Colts defeat the Broncos 29-28. Now here again, the Colts win with Daniel Jones. The Colts are 2-0. The Broncos are 1-1. Daniel Jones for the Colts was 23 of 34, 316 yards and 1 touchdown, which is great. And he beat a Broncos team that, I think everybody just thought, the Broncos are going to go into Indianapolis and wipe the floor with the Colts. No, the Colts kept up with them and beat them by 1 point, 29-28. So congratulations, Colts. And congratulations to you, Daniel Jones. Have you found your home? We'll see. Moving on, we had the Cardinals defeat the Panthers 27-22. Here again, Bryce Young is 35 of 55, 328 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he's getting better. He needs to connect more, but his receivers need to catch his balls too. But, he's getting 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. So that's saying something. So moving on to, I'm sure the game everybody was going to want to talk about. And everybody was hoping this would go the other direction, except for a few like me who are happy with this. The Eagles defeated the Chiefs in the Super Bowl rematch 20-17. Patrick Mahomes was 16 of 29, 187 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, this was so hyped. The pregame did a 2-hour special from Arrowhead Stadium. Like they thought the Eagles were going to go in there and just be like, oh, no, we can't let the Chiefs, we can't win with the Chiefs. Yeah, you walked in there and you beat the Chiefs, which means all this talk about Patrick Mahomes saying, oh, we're going to three-peat. Well, you did a three-peat. It was just not the three-peat you wanted. You lost to, let's see, let's go back. And this dates back to the Super Bowl. So let's just think about this for a minute. You want to talk about a three-peat, Patrick Mahomes, or Kermit the Frog, as I like to call you? You lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Didn't just lose, got embarrassed in the Super Bowl. The only reason y'all got points was because the Eagles felt sorry for you. It would have been a shutout if it had been me. It would have been 40-0, but beggars can't be choosers. So you lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl in February. You go to Brazil last week in week 1. Who do you lose to? That's right, you lose to the Chargers. And then this week, you're at home. You're playing the Eagles at home, and you lose to the Eagles again. Yes, y'all did a three-peat, and it's one of the best three-peats I've ever seen. Right now, you're 0-2, and again, I don't think that's happened since 2012, and you're at the bottom of your division because let's see. In week 1, we had the Raiders win, we had the Chargers win and beat the Chiefs, and we had the Broncos win. The only team that didn't win in week 1 were the Chiefs. And that's because they played the Chargers and got beat by the Chargers, which I think is great. So, you know what? I might just go ahead and say it. I hope this Kansas City dynasty is over because everybody knows what Mahomes has. Everybody knows what Travis Kelce has, and they know that Kelce is Mahomes' go-to guy. So, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But right now, the Chiefs are 0-2 at the bottom of their division. Good for y'all, Chiefs. This is where y'all need to be. Moving on to the Sunday night game, we had the Falcons defeat the Vikings 22-9. And this was good because this was the second time we were able to see J.J. McCarthy and what he had from Minnesota. He was 11 of 21, 158 yards and 2 interceptions, which, this is his first year starting. So, he's still learning the offense. Plus, he just had a baby this week or last week. So, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday of last week he had a baby. So, congratulations to you, JJ. I hope that injury gets better and you can come back because I forgot to mention this. With JJ's injury, that puts Carson Wentz in at quarterback, which is something. But moving on, we had to last night's game. We had the Buccaneers defeat the Texans 20-19. It was actually Monday night's game. It was a doubleheader. We had the Buccaneers defeat the Texans 20-19. And the Chargers defeat the Raiders 20-9. So we had some pretty good scores. In fact, I tell you, in the comments, let me know how you guys did predicting these scores this week. But moving on, we're going to go through some predictions for week 3. Because, God, I can't believe we're already going to be 3 weeks into the season. But on Thursday night, it's going to be a good one, y'all. In fact, it might even be, I don't want to say a shutout, but I think this is going to be an easy win. We have the Dolphins at the Bills. I'm picking the Bills. We have the Packers at the Browns. I'm picking the Packers. We have the Colts. Give me just a minute. We have the Colts at the Titans. I'm going to go with the Colts. I'm sorry, I had a little freeze go on. That's why it took me a little bit longer. We've got the Bengals at the Vikings. I'm picking the Bengals in that game. We have the Steelers at the Patriots. I'm picking the Patriots in that game. I'm not picking Aaron Rodgers. I'm not picking the Pittsburgh Steelers against my Patriots. No, I'm picking the Patriots. We have the Rams at the Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles. We have the Jets at the Bucks. I'm picking the Bucks. We have the Raiders at the Redskins. I'm picking the Redskins. We have the Falcons at the Panthers. I'm picking the Falcons. We've got the Texans at the Jaguars. I'm picking the Texans. We've got the Broncos at the Chargers. I'm picking the Chargers. We've got the Saints at the Seahawks. You know what? I'm picking the Saints in this one. I can't pick Sam Darnold. Even though the Saints are 0-2, lightning can strike, and the Saints can win this game. We've got the Cowboys at the Bears. I'm picking the Cowboys. We have the Cardinals at the 49ers. I'm picking the 49ers. And y'all, they felt sorry for the Chiefs this week. Because on the Sunday night game, we have the Chiefs at the Giants. Now, both of these teams are 0-2, which means you could pretty much call this a toilet bowl. The Giants and Russell Wilson aren't doing what they normally do, and the Chiefs just stink. So I'm not picking that game. If I had to pick, I would say the Giants, but that's a toss-up for me. And then on Monday night, we have the Lions at the Ravens. I think, I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to go with the Ravens on that one, even though I think the Lions are going to keep up with them. But I think in the end, the Ravens and the combination of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are just going to be too much for the Lions. I'd love for the Lions to win, but I think the Ravens are going to win. So who are y'all's predictions for week 3? Drop them in the comments. But moving on to our what we're listening to segment and who we're listening to Randy Travis. He's a country singer-songwriter out of Marshville, North Carolina. He started singing in 1979. I found out about him in 1998. His debut album was Storms of Life, and he's had 23 studio albums, 71 singles, 16 number ones, 36 music videos, 17 compilation albums, and 2 live albums. Now, he switched from doing country to gospel music. However, in 2013, he suffered a stroke, which has rendered him unable to sing or talk. But he tries with, technology and all that, like Val Kilmer did. But, the last album that Randy has done is Precious Memories, Worship and Faith, and that was in 2020. Right now, he's just going to these events and, listening to his old song and getting tributes to him from other artists, which I think is great. My favorite album from him is A Man Ain't Made of Stone, and that was actually the first album I bought from him, the only album I've bought from him. But I love listening to his music, his greatest hits. He's an inspiration, and the fact that he's had this stroke in 2013 and he's still getting out there, not letting him get him down, is just amazing. So just listen to a greatest hits of Randy, listen to A Man Ain't Made of Stone, and let me know what you guys think. And as always, who are you guys listening to? Who are y'all's favorite artists and genres and favorite bands? Drop in the comments who you got. And drop in the comments y'all's predictions for week 3 in the NFL. But that's all I've got for this week, y'all. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. And remember to spend time with your loved ones and family. Hug them, kiss them, let them know how much you care for them. And we will be back next week with another episode. God bless.